And now you departed for Berkeley at some point.
In the latter parts of my years at Princeton, I got more and more interested in differential geometry, especially complex differential geometry. And Spencer said, you should go out and spend the summer with Chern. That was the summer of 1961. So he got a hold of Chern, and I went out to Berkeley and had a marvelous summer. I mean, you've been in Princeton. It was liberating to arrive in Berkeley.
Yes, I did the same thing. When I was there was a formula that one of the students had come up with, which is n+3, which was the number of years it took you to get a PhD at Princeton, where n was the number of summers you spent in Berkeley.
Ah, okay.
So you went there on a Miller, is that what?
The summer was summer of 61, and I remember I ran out of money while I was out there. I was living in a boarding house. And so I went to see Chern and said, I'm going to have to go back, I think, because, I'm running short of cash. I didn't put it that way, but. And the next day, there was somebody from the math department that asked me if I'd teach the summer complex variables course, which I did, and I loved it. Chern's son, Paul, was in the course. So that got me through the rest of the summer. It got me back home. And then, I went to Berkeley as a postdoc. It was the Miller Fellowship. And I remember when the offer came, I called up my father and said, looks like I have a job for next year. And he said, well and good. What are you going to be doing? And I said, I'm going to be a Miller. And he said, at last you're going to have a real job?
Chern, of course, was, again, a larger-than-life figure. I guess you worked very closely with him at various points.
I think initially I basically continued an incomplete graduate education, which you know well, you don't get a complete one at Princeton.
Right.
At Berkeley, in large part by going to the classes Chern taught. There was integral geometry, there was one on minimal, some manifolds, and it was around then that he got interested in value distribution theory. So that was the first I had seen of that subject. And then I remember also learning stuff at Berkeley, you could, after the postdoc, I was an assistant professor, and they let young assistant professors teach a graduate course of their choice. So I taught several complex variables from Hugo's book. That's how I sort of learned that. I taught a course in Lie groups. Berkeley was great in that respect for young faculty.
I had a similar experience that they let me. I taught a course in Riemann surfaces, and I got to teach elementary differential geometry, which, of course, at Princeton I had learned the formal stuff, but not the elementary stuff.